Well, guys, up next we have Dryer Rainbow Q6 Conor Daly joining us. He will be here very soon. I'm excited. This dude is a Twitch streamer. He's got his own podcast.
He does a little bit of everything. He races. He'll be able to explain. But it's like he races rally cars. He over the fall and earlier this year he kind of just does a little bit of everything. He ran the Daytona 500 last year in 2023. He's got a really interesting racing story, and it's awesome to still have him back here at the 500, even though we know he's not running full time in IndyCar here this year. So he's with a great teammate, Ryan Hunter Ray, who won this race in 2014. And we'll hear about that more with Conor Daly as he joins us right now.
In the suit. Look at you.
What's up? How we doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you doing, more importantly?
Great. I think, yeah. I mean, we'll see.
We were just talking about you being
right now, honestly. This is great.
I know, if it can stay like this.
Yeah. If we could get going right now, I know that's impossible, but if we could have started at 9 a.m., it might have been okay.
Yeah. It does look like we'll get it in today, though. So
You don't think we'll get in 101 laps?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I just look at big green things on the screen, and I'm just like, I don't care. Let's just go.
Right.
Fair.
Rain doesn't exist on Sundays.
So your stepdad told us a few stories about you.
Okay.
There was a photo of you apparently in a little, what was it, a wagon?
You were like 8 years old
Yeah,
with
8 years old, that full
Dryer
circle
Rainbow back like well before you started racing cars. That may have been in like a program way back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember it. Yeah, definitely in that little red wagon. I think there are a couple other kids in there that are definitely in the racing family as well, which is kind of funny. I forget who, but a couple different children of names that you would know in the sport. Yeah.
So just kind of come full circle here with you getting a chance to now race with Dryer Rainbow Racing.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is I feel like I always paid attention to Dennis's team because, like, I really enjoyed the people that drove for him. You know, whether it was like the Mike Conways of the world, the Dad's Root Beer car. You know, he had Thomas Schechter as well. You know, there are a lot of good guys that, like, you know, had fallen out of the top teams, but like Dennis was right there, so it was like really cool to see, and they would always do well. So, you know, there was always something to cheer for on Dennis's team. So that's I want to be that guy. That's kind of cool to be there.
You are teaming up this year with a 500 winner, Ryan Hunter Ray, who won 10 years ago today, actually.
Yeah.
What these 2 weeks teaming up with Ryan, I know you guys obviously were together for the open test back in April, but what has it been like getting to know Ryan a little bit better, work a little bit more closely with him, and try to pick his brain and use his experience to augment yours that you have to try to put together a race-winning team this year?
Well, I think Ryan gets it. I mean, he's someone who knows what he wants to win, and I think he knows that I know how to drive, and I know that he knows how to drive. So it's kind of something that we both understand. I think how to get better and like what we want, and like both of our styles are kind of similar. So we've been able to effectively communicate what we want out of it, and so I think that's helpful. So you know, I feel like, again, this month has just gone by so fast. It barely even feels like we've been on the track, which is kind of a shame. Because we're just now kind of like hitting our stride of like, okay, I think we know what we want to get to the next step. So yeah, so he's already had that step with the team, but I'm now kind of getting to that point where I think he might have been, you know, before the race last year. So it is what it is. I think we both have good cars. I think Dennis believes we have good cars, and you know, we just have to be smart today and try to take it to the big ones, the big teams.
Yeah. What has this experience been like for you? I know it's been several years since you weren't a full-time driver coming into this race. This is your first IndyCar race of 2024. Does this feel any different? Has your preparation been different? Does kind of just your general vibe coming in different than the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, it's kind of I mean, it's awesome to be here, but it's also like, man, it's just like crazy that we're just already here and like this is the race. You know what I mean? It just feels a bit different overall. It doesn't demean anything from the specialty of this race and this day. It's amazing. But like for me, like I'm a competitive person. I want to be the best that I can be, and you know, this team's given me that opportunity to be the best that I can be. But it's also a group that's such an amazing group that you're like, well, I wish we could go at it again next Sunday. You know what I mean? So. That's the difficult part of this sport that we play, but you know, I can't complain about being a part of this group. It's an amazing group of people, and I hope we can do a lot more together in the future.
I want to ask you about your racing boots. I know with your boots and your helmet, you brought out a little bit of a Jeff Gordon flair for this year with Jeff being here for Kyle Larson's double. How do you go about that process with your special gloves and boots and helmet leading up to the race to decide what to showcase and celebrate each year?
Well, you just got to be a little bit different. You just got to do something that makes an impact, and I think there's a lot of us in this paddock, a lot of drivers in this paddock that just don't. I don't know if they just don't care, or like it's not that hard to just like do something cool, like, and that might attract more attention to the sport than it does normally. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important for our partners. I think it's important for like Sparko loves it, and Sparko helps me out a lot, and that's important. Why not just enjoy what you're doing, and maybe like it does not take away from you doing your job to have like cool shoes. Like it's just like literally takes 5 minutes to think about with your painter, like, oh, this could be cool, so we're gonna do something cool, and like and fans enjoy it. So so I haven't got to see Jeff yet, which is a
I was
shame.
going to ask you if you'd gotten a chance to maybe get a signature on those.
I was going to text him this morning, but then I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. So if I see him, I'll carry a Sharpie with me, and maybe he can just inscribe his name on my shoes before the race.
We don't have drivers asking for autographs too much around this place, but I feel like that would be a fair opportunity where that would make some sense.
I did have Julian Edelman sign my shoes before the Long Beach Grand Prix in 2017, which is kind of cool. So like it's not impossible, and I have those shoes in my house, and it's kind of cool. Be like, yeah, Julian Edelman signed those before the race. I'm like, hey, if Jeff Gordon signed these before the race, it's kind of unique.
Very cool.
I know this isn't your first rodeo. I'm glad you mentioned Edelman. I know you got your podcast, but the idea of 350,000 fans being here, do you get more stressed about that, or when you're like on your Twitch stream, your podcast? Like, what makes you more? I
feel more comfortable doing this, honestly, because it's because I don't. Yeah, it's just this is my natural habitat. Whereas like, when you're talking about racing, you're going to have your takes and you're going to have your opinions on things. And boy, do people not like that sometimes. So, that's the funniest part about it. But this is truly where I'm comfortable. I like being out here, and I like shutting the visor and not having to use my voice other than to say what I want in the car. Like, hey, I'll take some more front wing.
Fair. Well, we appreciate you joining us here this morning. I know you've got a little work to do from toward the back of the field, but hopefully we get 200 laps in, and hopefully you're able to make some moves and get up there as you have these last couple years and factor into that finish.
Oh yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be under the radar. We'll sneak our way in there, and then you'll be like, wait, why is this car in the top 5 with 20 to go? That'll be us.
That'll be awesome. Well,
thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
What a cool guy.
He's really, really neat. He's down to earth. He's one of these few guys that actually has grown up in Indiana, so he has that special connection to this race that not too many guys in this field have, and that's, I think, just makes this day extra special. And I think all these guys in the field, once you've done it a time or two, know what winning the 500 would mean, but I think he's just got a little bit better sense of the immensity of all of it.